get one.
Have you ever wanted a snack that is easy and delicious to make? Well, here's your answer: chocolate chip cookies. I've been watching my grandma Judy make chocolate chip cookies since I was small, so I know how to make them. Chocolate chip cookies are surprisingly easy to make. There's no kneading or rolling involved. First step to do is get all your utensils out before you bake. Two things to note is tablespoons and teaspoons. Make sure you don't confuse them. Also, don't mix your dry and liquid ingredients using the same utensils. It'll mess up the results. Then we're preheating our oven to 350, and we're going to cook them for about 15 minutes or until they're about light brown. You're going to add your flour and your chocolate chips last. Okay? First off, we have 2 eggs, which I have already cracked. We're going to add those first. Make sure the shell doesn't get in there. Next, we have Crisco. Crisco comes in both oil and butter form. We're using the butter form. It's kind of sticky, so it's nice to have a garbage can right next to you. You can start mixing whenever you think so. You need to. Make sure you lock it, otherwise it'll get all over. Next, we're using sugar. Sugar, you don't have to use anything special to measure. You just scoop it. We're using 1 cup sugar, and since this is a ½ cup, we're going to do another one. Then we're going to use brown sugar. Brown sugar you need to pack in. Now this is a full cup of brown sugar, and I'm going to stop our mixer for this because it's kind of big. Make sure you lock it. Next up, we have salt. We have 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and I've measured that already. Make sure you do that over a surface that you don't want, you can get messy. Then after salt, we have vanilla. Be careful with the vanilla because it comes out easy and it's really easy to spill. We're using 2 teaspoons of vanilla, not tablespoons. Next up, we have baking soda. Make sure you have baking soda and not baking powder, because you need baking soda to have your cookies rise. We have 1 teaspoon of this, so since I'm using a ½ teaspoon here, I'm doing 2 of them to make one. Then, make sure it's all mixed together. You have a light brown dough. Then we're going to add the flour. An easy trick to level this out is to use a knife like that. When you want to stop our mixer to put this in, and then start it again to have it all mixed up. We're going to be using 3 cups of this. Flour is really easy to kind of spill, and also this is pre-shifted flour, so we don't have to shift it. So that takes out a really time-consuming part of this baking process. I'm going to let this mix, and I'm going to get the chocolate chips since I forgot to grab those. The amount of chocolate chips you use for this will depend on how much you want in it. I'm going to be using a full bag, which you want to put in while it's mixing so it's all nice and mixed up. The mixer will start to sound kind of bumpy, but don't worry, that's fine. When you have all this mixed up, you're going to put it on a pan. Now, if you have a non-stick pan, you don't have to put pan on it. But, here's the finished product. I arranged it in rows and columns so it didn't blend together and you have a nice circle. We used a cookie scoop for this. And make sure you scrape it on the edge here when you scoop it, so you have a nice cookie. I've been making cookies since I was little, so I know how to do them. There's no kneading or rolling involved, and it's really easy to do. But even if I can make my own cookies now, I still think Grandma Judy's taste better.